On the evening of our silver wedding anniversary, my husband did something I could never have imagined. Instead of a gift, he handed me divorce papers in front of all our guests. With a hollow calmness, he announced, 25 years is long enough. I want someone younger now. You need to move out of the condo by tomorrow. The room went silent. He had clearly forgotten that the condo had actually been gifted to me by my parents. His mother, Celeste Price, remained seated quietly, offering nothing but a proud, smug smile, as if she'd been waiting for this moment. I stood, walked over to the microphone, and said something that turned the entire evening upside down, leaving him shocked and speechless. That very night, Naomi Sterling was woken by soft murmurs behind the bedroom door. Her husband, Darren Price, was once again on the phone with his mother. It was 3:00 a.m. Lying still in bed, Naomi adjusted her breathing and listened carefully, catching brief parts of their whispered conversation. "We need to make sure it's done the right way," Darren's voice murmured. "She won't suspect a thing." "Of course not, son," his mother replied in a low, soothing tone. Naomi's stomach turned. What were they planning? And why now? Their 25th wedding anniversary was just weeks away. Soon, the hardwood floor creaked as Darren re-entered the room. Naomi quickly closed her eyes, pretending to be asleep. He carefully slipped into bed, but Naomi could feel it. His body was tense, his limbs restless. Something was wrong. The next morning, a strange tension filled the air. Darren was overly affectionate, a stark change from his usual mood. "Naomi, my love," he said, kissing her cheek gently. His cologne was expensive and unfamiliar. "Let's pick a restaurant for our anniversary. I want it to be perfect." Perfect. Naomi raised her eyebrow. In all their years of marriage, Darren had never taken such keen interest in planning family events. That had always been her role, and he was usually cast in the part of critic, not co-planner. Still watching him closely, she replied carefully, "Fine." Darren smiled, then rushed off to work. As he left, his cell phone remained on the nightstand. A notification popped up on the screen. Call S at 11 a.m. While watering the window plants later that morning, Naomi called out casually from across the room. "Hey, D, who's the S in your contacts?" Darren turned suddenly, startled. Panic flashed in his eyes for a split second before he forced a calm expression. "Oh, that's Sanchez, colleague from Seattle. Just work-related." His voice was steady, but not his body language. Naomi had been with him long enough to know when he was lying. Whenever Darren lied, his left eye twitched. It was twitching now. "I see," she replied, offering a calming smile. But deep inside, her unease tightened. After he'd gone, Naomi stood by the window, staring out at the pale October sky over Georgetown. 25 years, she thought. A lifetime nearly. They had first met in college. She had been a brilliant accounting student. He was an ambitious young manager in the making. They fell in love, married soon after graduation, and spent years dreaming of a house bustling with children. But the children never came. Despite numerous tests and healthy diagnoses, the miracle they hoped for never arrived. Darren hadn't taken it well, especially with Celeste, his mother, constantly throwing subtle, passive-aggressive remarks about grandchildren not existing yet. Over time, they moved on, traveled, advanced in their careers, grew together, or so she believed. Until recently, something had definitely changed. Before she could sink further into thought, a knock echoed from the front door. Opening it, she found Celeste Price standing there, polished as ever, radiating her usual icy charm. "Naomi, dear," she greeted, stepping inside without waiting to be invited. "How are you? Are you getting everything ready for the big day?" Celeste always spoke with dramatic politeness and deliberate distance. In 25 years of marriage, she'd never once called Naomi her daughter, only Naomi, dear. Step by step, Naomi replied calmly, leading her into the living room. Darren wants to celebrate at a restaurant this time. Very wise, Celeste nodded approvingly. A decent venue with guests. Hosting it at home rarely carries the grandeur such a milestone deserves. As she spoke, Celeste's eyes scanned the living room, elegantly judging, subtly measuring it against her taste, and, undoubtedly, her own oversized suburban mansion. Naomi recognized that look. She'd seen it 100 times, and then came the real reason for her visit. By the way, Naomi dear, Celeste said sweetly while adjusting her scarf, considering Darren's age, 53 now, and, well, with no grandchildren, don't you think it's time to prepare a will? Naomi's brows tightened. What grandchildren? She asked plainly. We don't have any. Celeste waved her hand dismissively. Well, my nephews, good boys, studying, working hard. You know how it is. It's better to prepare for the future, before the government decides for you. Naomi slowly placed her teacup on the table. And where exactly are the condo documents kept? Celeste added, as if it were just another casual query. Just wondering. For the boy's future, of course. Naomi froze. That was it. The late-night calls, the fake calendar contact, Darren's strange over-affection, and now Celeste fishing for ownership details. They were plotting something, and it certainly wasn't dinner reservations. After Celeste left, Naomi remained seated, heart pounding beneath her calm exterior. Her mind was spinning. The questions about the condo, the unsolicited talk about wills for grandkids, the obviously coordinated effort between Darren and Celeste. No, something was very, very wrong. Naomi walked swiftly to Darren's study and sat down in front of his laptop. Darren had always used predictable passwords. He had once told her, smugly, that women are too paranoid about digital privacy. She hoped that arrogance still lingered. She typed in the date they first met, 09/01/199. Incorrect. Frustrated, she entered his birthday. Wrong again. She tried Celeste's birthday. Still nothing. Then a strange thought crossed her mind. What if he used their wedding date reversed? She typed it in. 095-2005-500-20509. Click. The computer unlocked. Her hands trembled slightly as she opened the browser history. The page loaded, and her breath caught. How to divorce when assets are shared. Legal tips. Property division in divorce. Spouse rights in condos and jointly owned real estate. How to keep the house during a divorce. Dozens of searches. All recent. Her stomach tightened as she took screenshots of every single page and copied them to her phone. Then, suddenly, her ringtone broke the silence. It was her closest friend, Candace. Naomi, you will not believe what I just saw. What is it? Darren. At Tyson's Galleria today. At a jeweler's. With a blonde woman. They were choosing rings. She was wrapped around his arm, like a teenager, hugging him, laughing. Naomi's throat went dry. Do you remember what she looked like? She asked softly. About 30. Tall. Super groomed. Expensive coat. Pretty in a very magazine cover way. But shallow. Naomi nodded. Are you okay? Candace asked. Yes, Naomi lied. I am now. But nothing was okay. That evening, Darren entered the condo smelling of imported cologne and holding a large bouquet of red roses and a box of chocolates. For my one and only love, he said dramatically, stepping forward and kissing her. Naomi accepted the gift wordlessly. We should talk about our future, she said, staring at him. He flinched slightly. Talk about what? Everything's great. Right. Let's just enjoy the anniversary and talk about serious stuff later, after the party. Naomi looked straight into his eyes. After the party, that's when he planned to strike. But she was no longer walking in the dark, and he had no idea. The next day, Darren left early again. Client meeting, he said vaguely. Might be gone most of the day. Right after he left, the house phone rang. Darren had accidentally left his mobile in the dining room, face down. Naomi didn't even answer. She wanted to hear everything. The voicemail clicked in. "Dee, it's Mom. I just spoke to Mr. Hayes. Everything can be arranged legally. The important thing is, she can't know until the very last minute. Call me when you can." Naomi turned to Darren's phone immediately. 6-digit passcode. She started with their anniversary, Celeste's birthday, Darren's graduation date. Nothing worked. Then she remembered the blonde in the jewelry store. March 8. International Women's Day. Could that be her birthday? She entered 0308 plus the year Darren would be attracted to someone born in 0308 1994. Click. The phone unlocked. What she found inside shattered any remaining doubt. "Sierra, my love, please be patient. We're so close. After the party, we'll be together. Darren, everything is on schedule, baby. Hayes says once she signs the property waiver, it's ours. Sierra, you promised we'd be together by New Year's. Darren, don't worry. The condo will be ours. As for her, she suspects nothing." The messages went back months. Sierra had been in his life for a while. Not hidden. Not some mistake. This was projected. Strategized. "Darren to Celeste, if she doesn't sign, we'll make it happen. After what I say at the party, she'll have no option." Naomi sat frozen. Her phone lit up again. A new notification. Watergate Hotel confirmed 100-person event. Final price, $45,000. Paid in full. She let out a short, bitter laugh. They were going to humiliate her in public and used her own money to fund it. It was no longer just betrayal. This was war, and she was done playing nice. That's when she called Aisha Cole, an old college friend, a highly respected attorney. They hadn't spoken much in years, but Naomi knew there was no one better in a crisis. "Naomi," Aisha said with surprise. "Can we meet today?" Naomi asked. "Of course, what's going on?" "It's urgent and personal. Come to my office at 6. At 6 sharp. Naomi walked into Aisha's law office downtown. They hugged, but Aisha immediately sensed the tension. "What happened?" "Let's say, I have a friend. Her friend's husband is planning a divorce behind her back, using a private lawyer, an affair, and old legal tricks. The friend recently inherited a large estate, which he doesn't know about." Aisha leaned in, now fully focused. Her voice turned sharp. "Okay, let's make sure your friend wins." Aisha's calm, professional voice brought a wave of steady energy into the room. "All right," she said. "Let's figure this out step by step." She picked up a notepad and clicked her pen. "Tell me more about this house." "The condo," Naomi began. "We bought it in 2005. But really, my parents gifted it to me. It was purchased directly from their account. Darren's name was added months later, after the paperwork. So, legally, Aisha clarified, your parents bought it as a gift for just you, and then Darren was added as a co-owner." "Exactly." Aisha's eyebrows rose. "That's helpful. If we can classify it as a premarital asset, it may not be considered joint property at all, as long as he didn't invest in major upgrades." Naomi gave a dry laugh. "He's barely changed a light bulb. Then let's secure that." Aisha scribbled notes. "Now, about that inheritance you mentioned." Naomi explained the notary letter from Germany. "My Aunt Josephine passed away. No spouse, no kids. She left me everything." Aisha nodded slowly, impressed. "Do not mention this to anyone. Transfer the funds ASAP to a separate personal account. No joint access. Or he'll get ideas." "Done," Naomi said. "Already opened it today." Aisha looked at her friend and smiled admiringly. You're ahead of the game. You're not helpless, Naomi. You're surrounded, yes, but not beaten. Now prepare for the next phase. Evidence, asset control, and mental strength. Thank you. Please, Aisha said with a smirk. Friends don't bill friends. They hugged. Keep me posted. And Naomi, don't show them that you know. Not yet. I won't, she promised. When Naomi returned home, she was ready to act. But as soon as she stepped into the condo, it became clear. The battle had already begun. Darren was standing at the entrance, adjusting his tie. As soon as he saw her, his expression shifted. Naomi, he said casually, can I say something personal? She waited. Lately you've looked a bit tired, a little run down. I think it's just age, but maybe it's time you invest in yourself again. Skincare routine, gym. Something fresh. We both need to look our best for the party, right? Naomi stood silently, absorbing every word. I saw Candace's daughter today. She's 30, but she looks 25. Takes care of herself. You know how polished she is. Whether he was comparing or conditioning didn't matter. He wanted to intimidate, to weaken, to create self-doubt. She gave a measured smile and walked past him. Also, Darren added suddenly, I have a meeting tomorrow. It's Saturday, but could take all day. Another day with Sierra, thought Naomi. She nodded. And Sunday, I'll go to Mom's. She wants help setting up her new smart TV. More time with your co-conspirator. Fine. She said nothing. That night, after he went to bed, Naomi logged into their joint online banking account. When she saw the numbers, her blood ran cold. $30,000 withdrawn in a series of transactions over the past month. Designer items, payments to someone labeled Legal Haze Consultant, and several unnamed invoices. Luxury beachfront property. Total, over $3 million. She now owned real estate on 2 continents, plus cash. And Darren had no clue. He thought he held the cards. But meanwhile, Naomi was building an entire chessboard. Next morning, Naomi dressed smartly and visited a man she hadn't seen in 20 years. Mr. Perry, the real estate lawyer who had handled the condo's title. A gray-robed man with a warm smile welcomed her. Naomi Sterling, it's been some time. How's Darren? She sat down. Mr. Perry, I need your help, and I need strict confidentiality. Instantly, his demeanor shifted. Of course. Please, go on. Do you remember the condo on M Street, Georgetown? Certainly, I handled that sale personally. Can you check who funded it and who the recipient was, formally? He opened a dusty file and flipped to the purchase documents. After 30 seconds of silence, he looked up and nodded. Yes, it's exactly as you said. The funds came from your parents' account. It was a deed of gift. You were the sole recipient. Darren's name was added 2 months later, post-marriage. Her heart lifted. That makes it a premarital asset. Correct. And unless he paid for significant renovations, which I assume he didn't, he has no claim. Naomi smiled softly. Never spent a cent. Then you're in a strong position. I'll prepare official documentation. Come get it tomorrow afternoon. Thank you, she said. Truly. She left feeling, for the first time in weeks, safe. But the universe had more twists waiting for her that afternoon. A courier arrived with an envelope from Germany. Official, crusted with notary stamps. Inside, ownership papers for the Munich condo. Transfer forms for the inheritance account. Title deed for the Miami Beach condo. Her eyes filled. It was real. She now owned 3 properties, over $1 million in assets, and most importantly, freedom. But she couldn't afford to let excitement show on her face. Darren still believed she was fragile. She needed him to believe that until the final blow. Late that night, her phone rang. It was Darren. Naomi, my love, he said. I was thinking, why don't we really celebrate this year? Call everyone. Make it huge. Why so big, Dee? Because it's 25 years, he said. A silver jubilee. We deserve to shine. I already booked the ballroom at the Watergate. Full buffet, live music. It'll be elegant. Sounds expensive, Naomi said calmly. What about our savings? We're fine, he said quickly. Don't worry about it, all right? The impression is more valuable than the budget. Valuable to who? She thought silently. Okay, she replied, her tone soft. Power had shifted, and tomorrow she'd start digging deeper. She didn't have to wait long. That afternoon, Celeste Price came over, smiling like royalty. Naomi, she said in a sugary tone, handing over an envelope. This is from me. A little something, just in case. Naomi opened it. Inside, a business card for Hayes Associates, Family Property Law. There was even a handwritten note. Free consultation, anytime. Hayes. Naomi nearly laughed. They were offering her the very lawyer who had plotted her financial strangling. Thank you, she said dully. So thoughtful. Celeste smiled a little tighter. I do worry about you, daughter. Daughter. For the first time in 25 years, Celeste used the word. Just before preparing the final betrayal. Later that evening, Naomi began casual cleaning. In one of Darren's jackets, she found a crumpled card. M. Hayes, Family Law, Divorce Property Division. Same lawyer, same character, same conspiracy. Darren returned home hours later, glossy-eyed, cologne strong, emotionally distant. Everything's set, he grinned. The menu, the music, it's going to be unforgettable. Yes, Naomi said briskly. Unforgettable. By the way, Darren tossed out casually, I'll be making a speech at the party, a bit special, about our future. What kind of plans? He paused. You'll see. It's a surprise. She shivered. That night, she lay in bed, motionless, listening. At 2 a.m., she heard Darren whispering in the hallway again. She crept to the door. Mom, he whispered. Everything's perfect. Venue booked, guests confirmed. After the toast, it all happens. You're sure she doesn't suspect? How would she? Naomi's naive, trusting, always has been. And if she doesn't sign, she will. After what I say in front of everyone, she'll be too humiliated to fight back. Hayes will be waiting back at home. Quick, clean, controlled. What about Sierra? Of course she'll be there. She's part of this life now. I'll introduce her as my assistant. It's romantic, right? Romantic. Even Celeste sounded nervous. It's not cruelty. It's strategy. I deserve to live, even if it's at Naomi's expense. You've made a mistake, Naomi thought to herself as she walked back to the room. You thought I was asleep, but I was awake before. Now I'm fully awake. The morning of the anniversary. Darren was practically bouncing with excitement. He stood in front of the mirror, adjusting his tie with the precision of someone preparing for a press conference. Naomi, seated on the edge of their bed, watched him silently. Naomi, he said, flashing his most polished smile. Today is going to be a big day. Yes, she replied evenly. Our silver anniversary. He turned from the mirror and looked at her with that same strange spark in his eye. More than just that. Tomorrow, he said airily, everything about our lives will change. Change how? She asked. Don't worry, he grinned. You'll find out. It'll be a surprise. She gave a small, polite nod. Darren, she said quietly, did you ever actually love me? I mean, really love me? That stopped him cold. Tie still half done, he turned slowly. What kind of question is that? I'm just asking. He looked away. Of course I loved you, in my way, he mumbled. In your way, Naomi thought. Like an antique chair, comfortable, stable, replaceable. Got it, she said. That day, Darren moved through their home on a high, making last-minute phone calls, confirming guest seating, sending delivery instructions, obsessing over his speech. Meanwhile, Naomi packed her bag quietly, not to run away, but to carry the documents that would burn everything he thought he controlled. That evening, as they both stood by the door, dressed and ready, Darren turned to her. "You look elegant," he said stiffly. "Just remember to smile tonight. It's our night." "It'll be one to remember," Naomi smiled. "Guaranteed." The venue glittered with gold-trimmed chandeliers and floral centerpieces on every white-draped table. Glassware sparkled under candlelight. A live string quartet played gently. Guests laughed, drank champagne, and offered warm congratulations. Naomi stood in the center of it all, poised and gracious. "Naomi, you look stunning," Marina, her old college friend, said. 25 years, that's so incredible." "Yes." Naomi replied softly. "All of this is very unexpected." At the far end, leaning smugly against a pillar, stood Sierra. She wore a designer silver evening gown that shimmered under the lights. Every so often, she introduced herself as Darren's new assistant. Guests began to raise eyebrows, but no one fully questioned her place. Not yet. Celeste glided around the room like the proud mother of the groom, accepting compliments and basking in the image of a perfect family. "Aren't they just iconic together?" She gushed to a woman at table 7, smiling in victory. At a small table near the wall sat a sharply dressed man in his 50s, Mr. Hayes, the lawyer. He placed his briefcase on the chair beside him and checked his watch. The paperwork was ready. All he needed was Naomi's public defeat. Suddenly, the MC stepped forward and tapped the mic. "Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special moment ahead. Mr. Hayes, Darren Price, would like to say a few words in celebration of this beautiful milestone." Applause erupted. Naomi sat silently at the head table, eyes fixed on Darren as he walked slowly toward the center of the ballroom. He took the microphone like an actor stepping on stage. "Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here tonight to honor what appears to be a celebration of love and endurance." The room chuckled warmly. Tonight is indeed special, because it marks not only 25 years of being with Naomi, but also 25 years of reflection. He glanced dramatically toward the ceiling. "You see, when we're young, we make choices based on emotion, passion, hope. But sometimes with age comes clarity and courage." Whispers spread, eyebrows lifted. Naomi sat still, cold, ready. "I realized that while we shared a home, routines, and meals, something essential has been missing. I've been strong, while she has been colorless, uninspiring." The audience gasped. "She's a lovely person, but not the woman who complements my life today. I need happiness. Real happiness, and I won't apologize for it." Murmurs intensified. Disbelief flickered across the faces of coworkers, friends, his boss. "So tonight, I announce our separation. Our marriage will be ending. Naomi will receive what she's entitled to. No more, no less." He locked eyes with Sierra, who smiled confidently. Naomi rose from her chair. The room turned. In her hand, she held a slim leather folder. She walked calmly to her husband and took the microphone from his hand. She turned to the crowd. "Thank you, Darren," she said clearly, the microphone amplifying her steady voice. "You've certainly told your truth tonight. Now, allow me to share mine." Complete silence. All eyes on her. "You all know me as Naomi Sterling, his wife of 25 years. But what you don't know is that I've known about Sierra, this public betrayal, and this event for 3 weeks now." Gasps. She opened the folder and held up the first document. "I also know about his lawyer, Mr. Hayes, waiting right over there, to finalize the divorce and pressure me to give up our condo. Hayes froze. He tried to stand up, but two guests blocked his exit. But here's what Darren didn't tell you. Naomi continued. That condo, it's not his. It never was. My parents gifted it to me before we married. His name was added later, but the ownership stayed mine, legally, formally, permanently. She held up the signed document from Mr. Perry. Collective shock swept across the room. Darren turned pale, but she wasn't finished. And now for the cherry on top, she said. 3 weeks ago, I received an inheritance from my late aunt, Josephine, in Germany. She pulled out the next set of documents. Included a condo in Munich, $800,000, a Miami beachfront condo, and over $1 million in the bank. The room sat in stunned silence. So, Darren, she said calmly, you spend $45,000 from our joint savings to host a party where you'd try to humiliate me, only for yourself to be exposed. In public. With my home, my money, my reputation. She turned to Sierra. And you. I see now why you never said a word to me. But for what it's worth, thank you. You helped me rise out of a marriage I should have ended 10 years ago. She placed the microphone down gently on the table and walked off the platform. Behind her, the room burst into chaos. Silence. 1 second after Naomi left the mic, the ballroom was frozen, and then exploded. Darren, are you insane? You can't treat your wife like that. What kind of man humiliates someone so decent? You tried to steal her home. His boss, Mr. Budrow, stormed over. I can't believe what I just witnessed. You're married to a woman like Naomi, and this is how you treat her. Darren opened and closed his mouth wordlessly, like a fish gasping for air. From across the room, Sierra tried to slip away silently, but a group of female guests quickly intercepted her at the exit. Wait a minute, you're his assistant, one asked, raising her eyebrows. Another woman scoffed, more like assistant homewrecker. You wore that dress to his anniversary party. You're shameless, someone else said. Sierra snapped back. I didn't ask to be part of this disaster. You planned it with him, a guest shot back. Don't play dumb. You're disgusting, another added. Both of you. Meanwhile, Darren, still stunned, tried to reason with Mr. Budrow. Sir, look, this has been blown out of context. Blown out. Budrow replied coldly. You just tried to publicly shame your wife while secretly plotting to take her assets. I won't work with someone like that. You're fired. Gasps across the room. But the chaos wasn't done yet. Sierra turned on Darren in full fury. So what now, Darren? Huh? Where's our happy ending? Where's the luxury condo you promised me? Sierra, not here, Darren hissed, tightening his jaw. But she tore straight through his fake calm. He told me she was dumb, easy to manipulate, that the condo was as good as ours. She looked at the crowd with rage. Want to know how he got the down payment for that lawyer? She pointed at Celeste. His sweet old mother mortgaged her own house to help him pay legal fees and set up the inheritance he never actually had. Celeste almost fainted. What? She whispered. What do you mean, Dee? I gave you $50,000 for Hayes. You said it was a done deal. I needed it, he stammered. You lied to me. I sold my mansion. Guests gasped. Sierra wasn't done. He also took personal loans in her name, she said, pointing toward Naomi. Chase, Wells Fargo. I saw the papers. Over $40,000 combined, and he used it all on me. Someone shouted, You use her money to destroy her life. Dude, you're gonna be a meme by morning. What hashtag are we using? Hashtag Silver Anniversary Trader. Everyone laughed. A young waiter whispered, I'm posting the video. Yes, another said. This is going viral fast. Just then, Sierra threw her champagne glass to the floor and grabbed her purse. "You know what, Darren? I'm done. You're a useless snake, and your real wife is more woman than I could ever be. You lost." She turned toward Naomi's table, bowed slightly, and said, "I'm sorry." Then to Darren, "Don't ever call me again." She left, applause trailing behind her. Celeste tried to run after her. "Wait, we can fix this. Dee, say something." But Darren just dropped into a chair like all the air had left his lungs. For once, he had no words. The judge peered over her glasses, flipping through a thick folder. Naomi sat in one corner, poised, silent. Darren, aged 10 years, sat slumped beside a young public defender. Hayes had vanished from his life. After evaluating the ownership documents and submitted evidence, the judge said firmly, "The M Street condo is and has always been the separate premarital property of Mrs. Naomi Sterling, gifted by her parents. No legal grounds for division exist." Darren's mouth went dry. Further, it is determined that 3 personal loans, $20,000 from Chase Bank, $15,000 from Wells Fargo, and an additional $8,000 unsecured loan were fraudulently taken within the marital period, but used for non-marital benefit. Therefore, per jurisdiction clauses, Mr. Price shall carry 100% responsibility for these debts. Division of assets will include equal split of vacation cabin proceeds and vehicle value. No alimony shall be granted. No minor children. Divorce is finalized as of this date. Gavels strike. It was over. Outside the courthouse, Darren caught up to Naomi. "Naomi, please, wait." She turned, elegant in her cream blazer, calm as ever. I just wanted to say, I know you don't owe me anything, but I want you to know, I understand now. You were the best thing in my life, and I ruined it." She studied him for a long second. "Darren, I don't hate you." His face brightened slightly. "Could we ever talk again? Just as friends?" She smiled softly, shook her head. "No," she said gently. "We're not walking the same road anymore." Then she walked to her car, a sleek Audi SUV, freshly bought with her inheritance fund. She never looked back. He didn't just lose his job. He lost everything. His social media posts from the party went viral. #Silver Anniversary Trader trended for 4 days. Even BuzzFeed made a meme. Celeste sold her new condo to pay off the lawyer fees and moved into a boxy 1-bedroom apartment at the city's edge where Darren joined her. He took out rideshare loans to buy back Naomi's old Camry and is now a full-time driver. Every now and then, passengers recognize him. "Hey, weren't you that guy from the party video?" He fakes a smile. "No idea what you're talking about." 1 month later, Naomi officially moved into her Miami Beach condo. White walls, floor-to-ceiling windows, ocean breeze. Absolute peace. She was finally starting a life she had put on hold for other people. She launched an indie European literature publishing house, hiring young translators and editors. Her passion became her new work. Her apartment was filled with books, sunlight, the scent of coffee, and 0 regrets. Her friend Aisha visited. "Damn, you're glowing." Naomi smiled. "Do you feel avenged?" Aisha asked. Naomi thought about it. "No, I don't think it was revenge. It was self-defense. You didn't strike back. You protected your peace." They sipped tea together as the sea winds picked up. "I didn't punish him," Naomi said. "I just didn't let him win. And I won peace." 1 year later, one final letter arrived by post, from Darren. "Naomi, I don't expect you to reply. I just want you to know I see everything clearly now. You were grace. I was greed. You were patience. I was pride. Be happy. You always deserved more than me. D." Naomi folded the letter gently. She didn't cry. She didn't smile. She didn't hate. She filed it away in a drawer that rarely opened anymore. Then she walked outside, took her coffee, turned on her music, and let the city air wrap around her. And everyone got exactly what they deserved. Did you enjoy this story? Are you listening from Miami, Delhi, London, Karachi? Tell us in the comments where you watched from. And if this inspired you, consider clicking super thanks to support more stories like this. Subscribe for more empowering and real-life lessons. See you in the next one. With love and respect.